So here we are. How you doing?
Hi, good. How are you?
Very good.
Good. Well, I want to thank you for the spiritual friend that you are for so many people around the world. And I think about the way you do it through music, and not just sending out music, but having people sing with you. So I wanted to ask about music, and just in your experience, what your feelings about what music is in relation to spirituality and the path, and in particular maybe melody and rhythm, together or separate from each other.
You obviously mistake me for somebody else. I don't know anything about music. I don't know anything about rhythm. I don't know anything about melody. I never think about those things much, you know. You should speak to Jayuto. That's who you should speak about.
I'm not looking for theory, just your own experience.
No, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I just sing to Maharaji. You know, that's what I do. You know, I repeat these names that he let us know about. And he said, from repeating these names, everything is brought to fullness and completion through the repetition of the names of God in that tradition. And Lama Norla said, Ram Ram, Om Mani Padme Hum, same. You know, so I enjoy singing with people, and I think it's a wonderful way of entering into a space together. Certainly, you could be singing the alphabet and still enter into some kind of space together. But when we all enter into this kind of space and we're invoking these mantras, it brings extra energy or power to that practice, you know, and it plants seeds very deeply in our hearts. And really, I think all these practices are about planting seeds that grow according to how you water them and take care of them and how you plant them in the first place. You know, if somebody comes to the kirtan and is really there to check all the girls out, or the boys, you know, then, and they're singing Ram, 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 you know, that's a planting a seed, but it's like taking the seed and just throwing it and hoping it grows, you know. But if somebody else comes there with the understanding of what this is really all about, then that's planting the seed differently. And the music helps it, because it you know, music is such a soothing, can be such a soothing medium for us, and such a soothing technique of quieting the mind and bringing, you know, naturally bringing us more concentrated. And we like to sing, so we get a certain joy out of that also. But again, in this case, it's the name that we're singing, the names that we're singing, that is the medicine that's hidden in the syrup of the music. My music, what I do is very simple musically, really. It's so simple that I couldn't even get a job as a harmonium player in somebody else's band. I can only play the simple things that I know. You know?
You write your own melodies, right?
More or less.
Coming from
something, you know, there's some kind of perversion of some melody I might have heard some other time somewhere. It comes out as a chant, somewhere like that. You know, I almost never sit down to write a chant. Usually what happens is I'll kind of find myself singing something and I'll go, oh, I never heard that before. So I'll keep singing it until I remember it. I might record it. You know. There's not a lot of thought that goes into it. So I sing what I like, you know. I mean, why all these people seem to like it too is beyond me, but they seem to, so that's good, and I'm happy about that. But it's, you know, so I don't even think of myself as a musician, really, you know. And I really don't have much skill. I really can play the harmonium just very simply.
Yeah.
And just enough to do what I do.
Do what works. It works.
I keep thinking I should fool around with the harmonium and learn some other keys. I can play in 2 keys, basically. That's all I can play in, you know. If you ask me to play in that key, I wouldn't know what to do.
Yeah, right.
So, you know, Music is very powerful, but music itself, I don't think it's enough by itself. I don't think it gives you, it may give you access to some states of mind that are more subtle than our normal consciousness, where it usually is. But I don't think we can stay there with just the music.
Right.
And in fact, a lot of musicians, really great musicians, who can access those states very easily through the music, have very fucked up lives because they never dealt with their own issues.
Right.
It's so easy for them to get away from it into another, you know, into that musical universe.
Right.
So.
Now, even if you're not a drummer, there's rhythm going in the way you sing, but also you tend to use a tabla player, sometimes drums.
Yeah.
And how do you feel about, like, I'm just curious, you know, I'm a drummer, so the
trap
kind of
drummer
rhythm, traps.
Really?
Yeah, I studied murdangam for a while, but haven't played it in ages.
Oh, wow, okay.
But the, what a rock beat does versus what a tabla, keeping a beat in tabla is very different.
Arjun was a punk rock drummer.
Oh, really?
You know, a trap set drummer. And so he has the kind of feel that I like, because I like that heavy backbeat.
Yeah.
And he's learned a lot of tabla stuff, but the stuff that we both like, at least I like the most, so there's those Ma's up in the hills who play the mridang or the dholak, and they have a rockin' beat, you know, they're rockin', and that's what I like. And so most of my chants have that, you know, have that kind of, that backbeat kind of thing.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And then you go from slow tempo to faster tempos.
It kind of just happens pretty naturally, you know. I mean, it's not any, there's no, once again, there's no like thought, okay, now let's speed it up. It just kind of happens, because we're in it, I'm in it, I'm doing it, and now it just, okay, it just goes there. You know, people give me credit for all kinds of things, and I appreciate that, but I know the truth. You know. So earlier, when we was talking about humility, and I, you know, yeah, I got humility down. I got that down. I'm really humble. You know, I got it. You know.
I'm the best humble person there is.
I'm the humblest person you'll ever meet. You know. So, you know, and I think a lot of people confuse chanting with music. Really, it's not about music at all. It's about prayer and entering into sacred space.
Right, right.
And if you worry too much about the music, if you're, you know, it's like you're worrying about the technique, and the juice of the thing is gone. So.
Well, even aside from that, there's different, you could be doing music for different reasons.
Sure.
It's easy to be doing it for the ego, or even just, I wonder about not the ego gonna get rich thing, but art for art's sake that we tend to have in the West more, as opposed, and it's my religion is my art or something like that, which is fine.
I never
but
had that particular delusion, you know. You know, yeah, but I know what you mean.
Yeah, like just pure art in the Western sense versus as a spiritual, I don't want to say tool, but
practice.
Part of my practice. But also from my limited experience with the more Indian Hindu traditions, there's a lot more developed melody and compared to Tibetan, which I'm more familiar with. Yeah. Although there's wonderful Tibetan singers, of course.
Yeah, sure. But, but their melodies they tend to be deep, you know, really deep and spacious. And Indian music, Indian classical music is like a whole, it's, you know, there are rules for everything. Yeah. From the moment the sun rises to the whole arc of the day, every 2 minutes has a different raga. Right. And if you're really doing it the way, there's particular rules, what notes you can sing, what notes you can't. It's quite extraordinary. Yeah. You know, and it's a very beautiful and deep practice. I just never had the time to even think about learning it because I was too busy singing. You know? Singing to save my ass. You know, I wasn't singing out of, I was singing out of, I had to sing, you know, in order to stay afloat in this world. And it's still the case. So I didn't have the luxury of studying music for the sake of music. You know, I had very, lack of stability, you know, that I needed to keep chanting to stay alive, you know,
Right,
to keep my
right.
heart alive, and to keep myself turned in the right direction.
So now it's keeping you alive, seemingly, and well.
Absolutely, yeah.
Where does it take you when you sing, as opposed to, if it's not too personal, as opposed to maybe sitting and meditating, reciting a mantra, singing?
I don't know. I mean, all the practices bring me to Maharaji's presence, to the presence of love. For me, that's Maharaji, but he's not a person. I don't necessarily visualize him or see him or anything like that, but I feel at home. I feel I'm where I should be. I'm here. The whole point of chanting, in a way, is paying attention to the repetition of the name and not getting lost in whatever's happening. So any particular states that might arise, I might not even notice, you know, because that's not what I'm focused on. It's not about what I'm experiencing. It's about doing the practice and keep letting go of everything.
Right.
Finally, I imagine there'll be a time where there won't be any letting go, and that will mean that there's nothing to let go of, which would mean I'd be very completely present. There wouldn't be any stuff left. So you just keep letting go as much as you can, you know, and whenever you can. The music helps me, definitely helps me. I mean, I've done a lot of sitting meditation, and I've had nice, good experiences with that, and difficult experiences with that. But what I do the most of is chanting. So that's kind of, and you know, my whole life is kind of just organized around trying to stay healthy enough to keep chanting. So it's like not a lot of, it's all dedicated to that, you know. Just kind of worked out that way, and it was not a plan, but it turns out that you have, especially when you get older, you know, you have to start taking space and resting as a part of staying healthy and that kind of thing. Yeah. All things. So, you know, it's kind of it's funny how you have to learn to take care of yourself in order to take care of yourself. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I love music and I want it to sound good. So when I'm singing on stage, you know, I can't really always hear everything everybody's playing, but I've been playing with the same group of people for so long now that everybody kind of knows what it's about and how to stay with it. Yeah. You know, people ask me all the time, I'd like to play with you, and I'm sure they're overqualified. Like everybody who plays with me is overqualified. But this group of people kind of understand the space that we get into, and they play into that rather than out from that, you know. Right. Into, you know.
He's trying to show off.
Yeah, there's very, and even when they're playing and rocking out and playing a lot of stuff, it's from the feelings that it's from inside that space, you know, rather than projecting, you know. And that's great. That's, beautiful. You know, so. Wow. So you want to play traps sometime?
Yeah, anytime.
Yeah, that's cool.
Definitely.
We had Jerry Murata used to play with us sometimes. He played traps, and Arjun played traps once when Ty played tabla.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so a couple of times. And Rick, what's Rick's name?
Allen.
Rick Allen from Def Leppard played with us for a while.
Oh, really?
He's on All One. And the one-armed drummer.
Yeah.
He and Ty played really great together.
With his electric drums?
No, he was playing a small trap set.
Oh, no kidding.
It was so funny. So when I use my in-ear monitors, I just use one so that I can hear everything with this ear. So we were doing sound check, and I said to him, Rick, I saw he was putting two in. I said, you're putting both in-ears in? He said, yeah, it's one of the few things I have two of.
That's great.
We had so much fun doing All One. Nobody wanted to leave the studio. We were in there for 3 days. Nobody wanted to leave. Man. It was really amazing.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
It was a great group of people.
Cool.
So yeah, you know, and the tradition I come from was that all the people who came to the temple to see Maharaji, all the pujas that were done, all the prayers that were done, the musical was musical, and they were all about that sacred space, you know. And when I first heard chanting in India, I was like, oh, what is this, you know? Because I could feel these people were giving it 100%, and yet it wasn't about that. It wasn't about the music world, which I had come from to some degree.
Yeah.
You know, I could feel the difference, and I said, this is for me, you know. I just knew it was for me. I didn't know what, you know, and I certainly wasn't collecting for the future, because as far as I was concerned, I was never going back to America. Right. So there was no collecting. I just wanted to get into it, immerse myself as much as I could. And by His grace, you know, it's happened. It's happening.
That's
what can you do?
It's great for so many people.
Yeah,
that
you know.
You're doing it.
I'm an old 78, I'm an old AM radio, you know. He turns it on, and then he turns it off. That's all. Radio doesn't know anything about what's going on.
Yeah, but you're playing all the hits.
Yeah, I'm playing all the hits. The top 40.
Top 40.
That's
cool.
Very good.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for coming down.
That was great.